I'm trying to paint! Today I'm painting this little Necromancer guy, and he's a fantasy figure. My first fantasy figure. So the paints I'm using will be Lothern Blue, Gnome Oil, Gene Stealer Purple, Ulthuan Grey, Zer, I don't know what that is, something purple, Caldor Sky, Dornstone, Ushapti Bone, and Ironbreaker. First paint I'm using will be my Caldor Sky. And I'm just applying this, like it looks really thick there, but it's just because it's a base paint. I do water my paints down, but they go on really easily. I'm just doing like the middle layer. He has like 3 layers of cloak. I'm doing the middle layer. That's my blue parts. Then up I'm using the Ulthuan Grey. And I'm doing this on all these skinny areas, because he's a pretty skinny guy. And I'm aiming for like, I don't want to clog up his eyes or anything. Make sure you keep your paint nice and thin. Do several layers because it's quite a pale color. Then with my Zer's purple, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm just applying this to the top cloak layer and his little collar, as well as like I'm gonna do the skirt layer, the bottom part of his little outfit he has. So it's gonna be like purple, blue, purple. And as you can see with this paint, I think it must be because it's a darker color. You can see how it's really transparent. I don't know why the brighter colors. And maybe it's the way they reflect light differently or something. They always look not watered down, they look thicker, but yeah, I don't really know why. Then with Ironbreaker, I'm doing his sword. And then onto Ushapti Bone, I'm picking out all the skulls, and there's quite a few skulls, and he's got his staff here, his little Riddler staff. And then on his base, he's got this skeleton guy who he's like stamping on. I don't know why he doesn't just resurrect him, instead he's just stamping on him, but it's fine. A bit of Dornstone. I'm picking out the graveliness of his base. I would use a brown here because I think it's more common in fantasy to use like muddy bases, but I don't own a brown. Then I'm onto Gnome Oil, and I'm putting it in all the cracks, all the recesses, and just like it really starts to bring out the details and stuff. Just work your way around the model. Try not to forget anywhere. And I'm doing it on every color. It's the only shade that I'm using today. Then over to my Ushapti Bone. I'm doing a dry brush, so I want to get most of the paint off my brush onto a tissue. And then I just want to wiggle my brush around, slap it side to side across all the bony areas, trying to be really careful not to get paint all over all the other coloured parts, though it's not too important because we're going to go back around most of the coloured parts anyway to neaten them up since we washed them. Then I'm doing the same with the Ulthuan Grey, another dry brush, just slapping him across the face with it this time. Just like slowly, it just like brings out all the raised details, brings out your wrinkles a bit better. I'm also going across like the bony areas, just because not like thick though, it's a really light dry brush, just because it gives it a little bit of extra highlight to the bleached bone. Same with the gravel, and just run the light dry brush over the gravel, and it just picks out those stones without having to like do anything else to them really. Then with Caldor Sky, it's where I would go around the model and just like neaten it all up. And this is where like any wash that's in places I don't want it, any dry brush that'll win in places I don't want it, I can basically just pick it out now with this Caldor Sky. And like water it down, try and like blend your colors. You can see there, I've kind of like, it fades into the wash a bit better. I'm not the best at blending, but it fades into the wash a bit better. Then I'm using this purple, and I'm doing the same thing I just did with the Caldor Sky. Just working my way around the model, work on cloak. And as you can see here, the fabric comes out quite nice. It's still a bit shiny, but that's just because he's not been varnished yet, and because he's still a bit tacky. Then I'm doing a dry brush with my purple, and I'm basically like doing around his eyes. Now I know some people will be like, what? And yes, I am messing up his face with some purple here, but then we just do another Ulthuan Grey dry brush to re-pick out the details. And it just gives a bit of color to his face, which he's, I don't know, it makes him look a little more alive than just totally just dead. Then with the Dornstone there, I was just getting his stringy hairs, and then I'm using this new color, Gene Stealer Purple, and I'm highlighting all the purple areas, like the edges of his cloaks and things, as well as like the purple of the cover of his little diary, where he writes like all his secrets and like, you know, all the stuff that makes him happy, makes him sad. Then I'm onto Lothern Blue, and I'm doing the same thing again, but with the Lothern Blue on the blue parts, picking out all the edges. It's quite striking. I'm going for quite striking highlights, so like quite a light, bright purple or bright blue, and that's the final thing done. I also used the blue to just dot his eye, like he has a big bulging eye and stuff, just to like help those stand out a bit better. But that's the finished model, and he came out looking pretty good. So if you liked this fantasy model, like this video, because I'm going to use this as a basis to determine how worthwhile it is to do more fantasy in the future. And please subscribe to the channel if you do want to see more fantasy in the future. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.